I'm a bit surprised, but I think he's probably what I think he is good at. Things I've read before is that he's a good link between the players and the manager, or the players and the management and the coaches. So, I mean, I noticed he said, I think it was yesterday, that he feels snubbing, um, Bellingham is to the disadvantage of the team. Now, in one way, you could argue that the players or a player shouldn't really start publicly going against what the manager's decision is. So I'm not sure that's the very sensible thing to do.
Mm.
But yeah, I mean, as I say, he was a very good player. I remember with interest, actually, going back a few years when Alex Ferguson was still manager at Manchester United, they were going to buy him. I don't know whether you remember this. Probably towards the end of Ferguson's time, and he retired in 2013.
Right.
But they were going to buy him at Manchester United from Liverpool, which I'm surprised about because the rivalry between the two clubs, you wouldn't think they would interchange players. But anyway, I think, as I remember it, the transfer was proceeding along, and he had a medical, and Ferguson or his advisors called it off because they said the medical showed something to do with his knees, Henderson's knees. Now, not an injury, I don't think, but the way he runs, it could shorten his career. They thought he could have an injury which would ruin his career. And of course, after that, and I expect other people specifically looked at Jordan Henderson when he was running, when he was playing, to see if you could pick up any sign of that. And I would have to say, there was something difficult to describe but there was something visible in the way that he ran, which sort of went along with what Alex Ferguson had said. But, what do we as observers know at all? But it never seemed to affect his football, and it certainly didn't end his career prematurely, which is what had been suggested by Ferguson. But that's just a little thing that stuck in my mind, that the transfer then was held back. But no, as I say, good player, good man to have in the team, more as a substitute. I don't think he'll probably start the game. I think he'll come on as a guy who probably chivies up the players if their heads are down and all that. So he may be there as that kind of dressing room influencer, which you do need in teams. So maybe that's it. But I don't see him in any way as a long-term player for England under Tuchel or anybody else.
Good observation. Now we move on to forwards now. So you got Saka and Kane, as you would expect. Is it Ashley Gordon of Newcastle?
And Anthony Gordon.
Anthony Gordon, yeah, sorry, yeah. And then you have Ollie Watkins of Aston Villa. Now, Marcus Rashford.
Marcus Rashford.
Marcus Rashford, and then is it Jaden Bowen of West Ham?
Yeah, Bowen. Yeah, West Ham, the captain of West Ham, isn't he?
Yeah. Now, what do you think of the forwards? Who do you think is lucky to be there?
Well, yeah, I'm not sure I'd say any of them are lucky to be there, really.
Right.
Going to the last one first, Bowen at West Ham, I think I've always thought he's an excellent player. He embodies determination. You see, sometimes he comes on as a sub if he hasn't already started, which he does often. And he just has a determination. He's quick. He gets down that. Determination. He's quick. He gets down that wing, and he often delivers a super cross, which is then converted, and he scores goals himself. So I think, for me, he is an authentic genuine international footballer. Some players you might think, yeah, I'm not sure they really make the grade. They don't, the transition from club football to international, but Bowen certainly does. And I actually think maybe he's missed out on some international caps over the past years. Where I don't think Southgate chose him too much. He probably did select him later on in his tenure, Southgate. But no, I think Bowen is very good. Marcus Rashford, well, we've got to say he's been playing very well, hasn't he, for Barcelona. I don't think he's had any criticism over there, to my knowledge. So I don't object to him coming back. I think we talked about him before, didn't we? And said that given his difficulties here with Manchester United, I think he was okay at Villa when he went on loan there, but he's been a little bit at war with football, hasn't he? So, or he was, because of his political interests and so on. But yeah, Tuchel obviously likes him, and on his day, he's as good a winger as anybody. I mean, he can get down the wing, put crosses over. He can be in there and score himself. So that's what we want. What's best for the team. Harry Kane, of course, is he's a shoe-in for the striker's role, isn't he? Really, he's broken more records. I saw that the other day at Bayern Munich. I think some clubs here have been hoping he's going to return to the Premier League quite soon, because there have been whispers to that effect for a few weeks now. But I see he said the other day, I think his quote was something like he's in no rush to come back to the Premier League. So he's obviously well settled, and I guess his family too, in Germany. He must enjoy the life there. He's playing very good football, although there are those who say the German Bundesliga is not as competitive. It's not as I think they've won the league a lot of times in the last few years, Bayern Munich, which I know can happen here. We had Man City for 4 years, but they won it more. So I think that the overall quality of the football there is probably not. It doesn't quite match the Premier League, but there's no criticism of Kane at all.
No,
I know there are some who've expressed disappointment, some footballers or pundits, that he hasn't stayed in the Premier League to beat Alan Shearer's record of, I think it's 265 Premier League goals. Harry Kane.